Ranatunga 7.
Well, this has been another very good day for Australia. You know what happened yesterday? 258 for 2 overnight. Yallop on 91, Chappell 19. Yallop was finally out at 98, unfortunately, just 2 runs short of his century. He might have made it the 7th century in Test series. Chappell was also out at 66. But then everything did not go Sri Lanka's way because Hooks and Border brought in a wonderful partnership of 155 runs, which contributed to the massive final total at tea of 514, just in 2 sessions. Hooks 143 not out, incidentally the highest scorer, beating Wessels by 2 runs. Wessels was 141 run out, and Border 47 not out. Well, 514, Australia at tea, and Sri Lanka sent in to bat. Naturally, the Sri Lankan supporters expected that the opening batsmen would perform as well as they did in the one-day internationals, but this did not happen. They also hoped that Roy Dias and Dulip Mendes would come off. They were not very accurate. What happened was a disastrous start, as I said before. Wetamuni was the first to go, caught behind off the fire of Lily's bowling, and then there was Dias, who went soon after. Wetamuni going for no score, Dias for 4, caught by Border at 3rd slip, off the bowling again of Lily. Then Hogg had a part in this. This was the fire at the beginning of the Sri Lanka innings, and he had Susil Fernando also, the other opening bat, go for a catch behind for a blob. Disastrous is hardly the word. It was really tragic. However, there was Mendes who came in and showed signs that he could hold the fort. He held back this attack. He's been batting very beautifully. He's unbeaten with 33. And then he was partnered there by Madhukalla, who had a very patient start. He took about 15 minutes to get off the mark, but he was batting very well, very confidently. But unfortunately, Madhukalla was caught and bowled by Yardley. Yardley using his head, bearing his pitch, and he had him caught and bowled. Dulip Mendes at the moment, as stumps are drawn, is partnered by Ranatunga. Sri Lanka hopes are now pinned on them. Dulip Mendes unbeaten on 33 and Ranatunga on 7. Tomorrow, a crucial day for Sri Lanka. Will they survive the Australian attack or will they crumble under it? We shall know only tomorrow. 3 days to go in this.
Hello, I'm Aubrey, but speaking to you from the Askeria International Stadium, where we are about to witness the 3rd day's play in the inaugural test between Sri Lanka and Australia. It's a lovely, bright, sunny day here at Askeria, as Sri Lanka resume with a total on 65 for 4 in reply to Australia's 514 for 4. And with me is Michael Tesera, the former Sri Lankan skipper, who will give you his assessment of the first 2 days' play. So it's Michael Tesera.
Thank you, Aubrey. Australia have dominated this game so far through their batsmen and their bowlers and have now taken a firm grip of this test match. Their batsmen yesterday piled up 256 runs for the loss of only 2 wickets to allow Chappell to declare a tea at the massive total of 514 for 4. Soon after, their bowlers had the Sri Lanka innings in shambles when there were 9 for 3 wickets and then 46 for 4 to end the day 65 for 4 with only 2 recognized batsmen, skipper Dulip Mendes and Arjuna Ranatunga, both very attacking players, left. The Australian batsmen yesterday showed us some lovely strokes, things we've known they are capable of, particularly Hooks, who played a fine innings of 143. In that innings, he had the distinction of scoring 100 between sessions, and it was also, incidentally, his first test century. We saw a far more fluent Chappell than we have seen on this tour so far, and Greg Chappell, who unfortunately missed his 100, which he so... Sorry, Graham Yallop unfortunately missed 100 he so richly deserved. We then had Border, who played a really solid innings, quite content to give Hooks the majority of the strike in that big partnership, and they showed us what Test cricket batting was all about, when even after 400 they took no chances. Their bowlers were on line straight away. The great Dennis Lilly bowling almost at full pace, a beautiful sight and a model for any budding fast bowler. When Yardley bowled, he got the opportunity to turn that ball quite appreciably on this wicket, and he is going to be a threat this morning. The Sri Lanka bowlers disappointed, with the exception, of course, of DS De Silva, who bowled magnificently right through the innings. He was nullified, of course, by the presence of the many left-handers. The bowling looked to have some imbalance, with two left-handers bowling to a lineup of two leg spinners bowling to a lineup of 5 left-handers in the first 6 places of the batting order. The fielding of the Sri Lankans fell away in the second session. They wilted after so many hours on the field. There were some exceptions, one of whom was Guy Alvis, who had a superb performance of not giving even one bye in a total of 500. The Sri Lankans, when they batted, showed that they had a weakness outside the off-stick, which Lilly and Hogg took full advantage of. This morning, the Australians seemed to have a far better balanced attack to make use of the turn on the wicket, with Yardley off spin and Hogan left arm spin. And talking of spin, the ball turned on the first day, it turned appreciably yesterday, and which all points to the fact that this is not a good Test wicket.
Well, thank you, Michael. And here we see the Australians taking the field at the commencement of the third day's play, with Sri Lanka on 65 for 4